Hey Silvia.
Hey Drew, nice to see you again.
Good to see ya.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah,
I
you're
know
welcome.
you're pretty busy, and I remember from our last session that you mentioned a lot of frustration.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
your situation, and I just wanted to acknowledge your frustration.
Thanks.
And it's hard.
Yeah. No, it's not that easy. I've run cross country and track for the last 6, 7, 8 years now, something like that. I started in 8th grade. I ran through middle school. I ran into high school, and then I got a college scholarship, which was awesome. So I run at a smaller university, John Brown. We have cross country in the fall, and then we have track in the spring. So I've always been better at track. That's what I'm better at. They're faster events. I tend to be a faster runner rather than running for long periods of time.
Oh, so you're a sprinter.
Yeah, a middle
okay.
distance runner, sprinter. Yeah,
Okay.
so I'll run like the half mile, the quarter mile.
Gotcha.
And so when you move from cross country into track, you want to be able to put on a little bit of weight. You want to put on some muscle because you need to run a little faster. And that's always been something I really, really struggle with. I think part of the reason is because I'm 6'4", and I just burn through calories like nobody's business. So actually putting on weight's been really tough. So yeah, this season's been kind of rough. I know my coach has kind of been on me, teammates have kind of been on me, and I've been having a hard time putting it on.
I know, it
honestly.
just seems like, they've got you, from every corner.
A little bit.
Kind of a little bit.
Yeah.
Can you walk me through a typical day of what you eat in a day so I can get an idea of, because you mentioned that you feel, it almost sounds like you get hungry pretty soon.
I do.
That you go through, you feel like you're expending calories pretty quickly.
Yeah, for sure.
Can we go through like a typical, like from beginning of the day to
Sure.
the end? What does it look like for you typically?
Yeah. Probably the most common, it'll keep going even if it darkens a little bit. Most common day, the craziest days we have are going to be our Mondays and our Thursdays. That's when we have morning workouts. Those are like the big workout days. So because of class schedules, we work out at 6 a.m. Which that's one of the biggest struggles I have is because, I'll get up at 5 to try to make it to the 6 a.m. workout. But we work out really, really hard. So eating a big breakfast isn't really an option unless I get up maybe at like 4, which at that point I'm compromising a lot of sleep. I don't want to get up that early.
I understand.
And so I'll try to get a little bit of something, like maybe a banana. I found bananas work pretty well. Maybe like an energy gel, like a carbohydrate gel.
Okay.
That's been a little bit helpful. I've had some really bad experience with some bad stuff before. Like, just trust me, you don't want to have any sort of protein. You want to have any sort of fat before you try to go run a fast workout because you're going to feel rough, like cement in the stomach. So anyway, I'll have a little bit of something there. And then my first couple of years as a freshman, sophomore, I had access to the cafeteria, which was really nice because I could go to the cafeteria afterward and it was all you can eat. They had lots of breakfast foods, so I would sit down. But now it's a little tougher because I live on my own. I live with a couple of roommates, and so I do all my cooking. So I'll come home and I'll like pre-make these baked oatmeal trays.
Oh.
And so I think you can get like 6 servings out of a 9x12 or a 9x13.
Like a granola bars?
Yeah, similar to that. It's a little softer. It's like oats and milk and cinnamon and some sugar and stuff like that. So I'll have that with either some yogurt or some full fat dairy. Then I'll have like some blueberries on top of that. And that'll generally keep me over until maybe about lunchtime or so.
Okay.
Where I'll be on campus at that point. So I'll either bum a scan off of a friend to see if he can get me into the cafeteria, or I'll pack something in a lunchbox.
Okay.
So I'll have a lunch, and then, afternoon rolls around, and I will be tired. I'll be sleepy at that point. I've been up for 9 or 10 hours at that point in the middle of the day, and
Sure.
maybe it's an under-eating issue that I do get really tired around like 2 or 3. I might have like a snack there, and then evening rolls around. I'll try to eat a pretty big dinner if I can, and then I might have a snack, and then I'll go to bed. That's kind of like my normal workout day. So that's when I eat the most.
So you're saying that you eat the most after all of your workouts, like at the end of the day. It sounds like dinner is your biggest meal.
Dinner is probably, because I'm actually I'm home, I'm home from like 5:30 till, whenever I go to bed, so I'm actually able to kind of.
So you've got like no other obligations, you gotta go.
No, homework and stuff like that, but
Right.
stuff that keeps me in the house for the most part.
I got you. Do you feel like you're is it kind of like a, maybe compensating? Like being hungry earlier in the day, so then when it comes time to dinner, you're sort of like catching up a little bit, or maybe your body that's what your body kind of feels like?
Probably so, yeah. I think there's definitely some hunger cravings throughout the day, but it's hard because I'm just, because I commute from home to school, I feel like I have to bring this cooler of food, and that's not, I don't want to, it's hard to take the time to actually pack that much food, especially 5 days a week, that's hard.
Can I ask, I'm sorry, but can I ask how far your commute is?
It's not terribly far. It's about 10 minutes each way. So, it's really not terrible. But once I'm on campus, I kind of like to stay on campus.
Oh, I
don't have to walk to my car and then drive home. And then, because, like we were saying about driving to the Colvin earlier, like it turns into this hour-long ordeal just to go home and grab something.
Right. So does it sounds to me like it's like a time, it's like a time and financial issue. All wrapped up in one.
I mean, if I was made of money, I would be buying
of course,
protein shakes, and I'd be, I'd hire a private chef if I was making money.
Oh shoot, I would have a private chef absolutely as well.
Yeah.
One can only dream.
One can.
Yeah, one can dream.
Maybe in the future, we'll see.
But it's sort of like, it seems like just a sort of multiple factors coming in, like converging.
Yeah, probably
trying to meet all of your needs, especially protein, and then an issue of time, also convenience, I think. You mentioned something about, just packing all that food, and then you have to carry it wherever you go when you're on campus because you're mobile, so you've got all those factors. Mm-hmm. Can I ask, with what you eat every day, do you track what you eat in terms of like a log, so you can track, the different. Yeah, are you tracking carbs, protein, and fat, or just even listing out the foods that you eat?
Sure. I haven't taken like a, what would you call it, a comprehensive food journal before. Like I've never actually done that. I know for a class once we had to do a, what was it? It was like a resting energy expenditure test, and so it had me really, really high. I think my resting energy expenditure, like if I didn't move in a day, if I just sat down and sat in a room, I was burning almost 3,000 calories. And so you add on the running onto that, and people say I probably need somewhere around like 5,000 calories to just kind of keep up.
Do you feel like you're getting about that much? Or
probably
do
not.
You feel like
especially with trying to gain a little bit of weight. So I guess that's kind of where I wanted to move. I did have a question first.
Sure.
Protein. Like it's all over the internet right now. If you're on Instagram, if you're on Facebook, people are talking about protein. Do I need to be getting a whole bunch of that in? Like, do I need to be eating steak every meal? Like, is that something I need to do to put on weight?
I think definitely, I wouldn't go the steak route for every meal.
Okay.
But I did if you don't mind, I have some notes. I brought some notes with me. I did a little research. Because we did talk about protein in the last session, and so normally, it would be about 0.8, 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight.
Oh, okay.
So if you do you have a way to weigh yourself, or do you know what you weigh?
Yeah, I think I'm currently around 80 kilos.
Okay.
Is what I sit around, and I'd really like to be at about 82 or 83. So not like a huge jump. I don't want to be a bodybuilder.
Sure,
but I would love to jump up to maybe even 85 kilos, somewhere in the range.
Do you have a scale at home?
There's one in the gym.
One at the gym.
And so, I think it's pretty accurate. At least it's accurate to itself. So.
I mean, at least you get some kind of estimation, or a way to, so you have access to it.
I do, yeah. Okay. But it's not in the house, so I'm not weighing myself every day.
Sure.
That's something I've had an issue with in the past of like, don't have a scale in the house. You're gonna overthink it. So.
Yeah, and I think that's really great. I think that's very insightful. Insightful of you. And I think that as I was thinking about what we talked about the last session, I think a good goal that we can work towards together would be having a steady goal of weight gain. Steady but manageable.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think a good way to do that would be to just increase your protein and make sure you have protein at every meal. And when I say meal, I mean even snacks. So I don't mean that you've got to sit down and have a traditional meal.
Sure.
Because it seems like you're on the go a lot. But if you plan to, because it sounds like you do some good amount of pre-planning.
I try. I could probably get better at it, but I do try. Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, don't beat yourself up if you have like less time.
Okay.
You know, if
Yeah.
you know, we do just work within like what you can with what you have. You know, it's important not to beat yourself up.
Yeah.
And I think that with what you mentioned the last time about being, you know, smaller than your teammates,
Mm-hmm.
I really just want to encourage you moving forward, you know, as we work through our plan, not to feel, because I know that you mentioned that you have like these feelings of guilt.
Yeah, and
yeah.
probably some comparison as well.
Right.
Like some of the faster, some of the better guys in the team they're just bigger, and you know it's hard not to in a sport that's so like quantifiable and objective as track. Like, you know, he runs, you know, 1 minute for this race. I run 1 minute and 5. You know, it's pretty straightforward. It's hard to not feel
Absolutely.
like smaller. You know what I mean?
Right,
Yeah.
right. And the beautiful thing is, you know, when I reflect on something like the Olympics or even the Special Olympics, you know, we all come in all different shapes and sizes, tall,
Yeah.
short, you know, and that's the beauty of the human race. And I think
Yeah.
that really just having a different body size, just simply, it doesn't mean that anything is wrong, because nothing is absolutely wrong. It just means that we need to modify a strategy to get you to where you need to go,
Mm.
where you would like to go.
Yeah.
And so I think a good starting point would be incorporating a little bit more protein. And so instead of the 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight that you have,
Mhm.
and then we can start at 1.5 or 1.6.
Okay.
And then, but really a way to know that you're getting that would be keeping a little bit of a log. That's why I asked you.
Okay. for
If
the
you
food log.
generally,
Yeah.
if you have some experience doing that, and if you need some, I can give you some handouts and some
Yeah, that'd be
resources
great.
to show you how to do that, because there really is no one way to do it. But, you know, because some people log what they eat, and some people log based on food groups, like, you know, like protein,
Sure.
carb, fat.
Okay.
I mean, according to macros,
Yeah.
or according to food groups.
So like if I have a vegetable, I'd like mark that down in there versus if I have.
If you want to do it that
okay,
way.
yeah, sure.
Yeah. But since you're interested, and I think that increasing protein is one of the things that would help with the steady weight gain. That's
Okay.
going to be manageable. And so we can talk about tracking your food according to macros.
Mm. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I like
And
that.
then placing the foods that have the protein into those categories,
Mhm.
and trying to track.
Okay.
And so a good app would be Chronometer. I don't know if I'm
Oh, okay.
pronouncing that correctly.
No, that's okay. I can look it up.
But that's a really, really good one.
Okay. An app would be helpful versus keeping like a physical journal. You know.
Okay.
I'll keep my phone on me versus, you know, keeping a notebook might be a little bit harder.
So I think that Chronometer on your phone would be a really good tool
I think,
for
yeah.
you that you
I
could
can probably do that.
use. And again, we're just, you know, you're just estimating. It's not about perfecting numbers. It's about getting an idea to see like if your protein, you know, is meeting your needs.
Mhm.
The increased protein.
Sure. Sure.
And so
That makes a lot
one
of
of
sense.
one of the things that I had, one of the notes I took down for you would be, a good goal would be for the steady weight gain would be a 1/2 pound to 1 pound a week.
Oh, okay. So it's not like
So it's
it's not
nothing
terribly
big.
fast. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, 1/2 pound. I mean, that like hardly shows up on a scale in a week. So yeah. Okay. Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So we want it to be manageable.
Would you say that that's like healthy and manageable to do it at that pace?
Absolutely.
Think so? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, you see all sorts of stuff online. I mean, I follow all sorts of nutrition things, and you see people bulking up 30 pounds in, you know, a month almost, and you wonder if that's normal. You wonder if that's healthy.
I think it really depends. I think generally, I would say generally no.
Okay.
But honestly, I think it does depend on what you're doing. Like if you're preparing for a bodybuilding competition,
Sure.
then there's going to be slightly different.
It's going to be different versus
different
your- okay.
parameters,
Yeah, that
right?
makes
With a
sense.
different focus.
Mhm.
But because you're doing track and running, I would feel safer for
Yeah.
you if we started smaller, and then because we see how you feel, because with the foods that have different protein amounts, you might start to feel fuller faster, and so if you
okay.
need more calories, then
Sure.
we're going to then you'll need to modify with increasing calories, not by food because you already feel full, but
Mhm,
maybe
mhm.
liquid calories.
Yeah, I mean, that was going to be another one
So
of my
like
questions. Like, if I
a
do feel
healthy
full,
shake or something like
Okay,
that.
okay.
You know, because eating an additional meal is gonna make you feel worse.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
because you're already feeling full.
Mhm.
So we need to try to get those calories in a different way.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I wanted to ask about, I know you mentioned being able to, do a grocery run on a budget. I think you're probably the right person to go to for that. So if I am trying to get a little more protein and am trying to make a little more, I suppose, convenience food, stuff that I can, pack and actually bring to school, because I think that's one of my weakest links probably, is like that after practice until dinner. That's like my biggest gap if I'm having a hard time fitting in a lot of food there.
Do you have food available on you, or
It's-
are you saying that you tend to like grab a bag
I
of chips or
probably
something?
I probably tend to undereat. Like I can bring a cooler with me, with food in it, but I
Yeah.
probably tend to undereat generally in that time.
Okay.
Just because packing that much food is hard, and then also,
Yeah.
I want to make the food that I bring count. So, are there any what should I add to my shopping list? Do you have any idea?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So
We just brainstorm some stuff. Like you don't have to have a perfect solution or anything, but I
Yeah,
would take any
no.
ideas you got. I mean, anything with more protein, anything that would be easy for me to actually bring to school.
Yeah.
Because I'm willing to throw some money at it. Nothing crazy, but like this is for my scholarship, right? So this is a big deal.
Absolutely. So depending on what you have, if you have maybe, I don't know, an extra 25 or something, or whatever amount a week, and we can fit in some ideas that come to mind immediately would be easier things like bring a small container of cottage cheese.
Oh,
You can always
okay.
get the bigger tub and
Yeah.
then pack it into just a smaller.
Sure, like a Tupperware or something.
Right, instead of getting individual packs of 4 that come together, but then the price goes up a little
Yeah,
bit.
that makes sense.
But that's just an easy thing at home that you can just, plop some into a different container. There's no added preparation.
I like that.
So you can have that.
That's cool.
Plain Greek yogurt that's gonna have some protein.
Greek yogurt. Okay, cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been doing.
Greek yogurt.
Okay, so that's one question I had. I've been doing like normal yogurt, like not the Greek kind. Would switching over to Greek probably be a decent idea? Because I'll have a lot of yogurt in the morning after practice.
But can I ask you about the kind of yogurt that you do have? Is
Sure.
it flavored? Like
I'll
vanilla
get like
fruit flavored?
I'll get the vanilla flavored one. Yeah, that's the one I'll
Right.
go for.
So the reason why I'm suggesting plain Greek yogurt is
Okay.
because it's gonna have a higher protein content. It's gonna have less sugar
Oh,
content.
really? Okay. Is
So
sugar?
it's going to be, it's going to fill you up. It's going to fuel your needs, I think, better because it's gonna have more of the nutrient, a higher nutrient value.
Okay.
It's gonna have less sugar value. What I know that different dietitians look for different things.
Mhm.
But for me personally, I do eat plain Greek yogurt, but what I look for is I'm always looking at the protein content, but also the sugar content.
Okay.
Because I think generally speaking, I would venture to say that, something with more than 10 grams per serving of sugar, you're essentially eating dessert.
Mhm.
And so,
Yeah, sure.
but I'm trying to focus your food for fuel.
Right.
You know?
And it's hard to balance that because I
Yeah.
suppose, sugar does have some calories in it, which if I'm trying to gain weight, that can be a good thing.
It does.
But you don't want to gain weight by Dr. Pepper and chips, right?
Right,
You want to have some
right.
good stuff in there.
So what I do is I'll grab the plain Greek yogurt containers,
Mhm.
and then I will add frozen fruit.
Oh,
And
that's a good idea.
nuts.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
That's a
So
frozen fruit too.
walnuts have a lot of calories, and
Walnuts,
we do
that's good.
want to keep within the healthy range. I think it's good to add, a little bit if you need a little bit more. Even though Greek yogurt has protein,
Mhm.
you can add some nuts for that omega-3 from the walnuts.
Okay, yeah.
But it also gives you other, minerals
Cool.
that obviously you're not going to get from the yogurt.
I think that's smart,
I
especially
think that's an
'cause
easy
my,
thing that you can bring
Yeah.
that maybe might not weigh you down.
No, that's not too bad. I think especially like post practice, post workout, getting a meal in is pretty important. So then adding that Greek yogurt to
Absolutely.
that, adding some walnuts into that's probably a really
Right.
good idea.
And again, by meal, I think it's important that since you're mobile a lot and
Mhm.
you're on campus for a long stretch of time, it's helpful to think of food at not only as fuel, but as even as smaller bites. So not necessarily sitting down to a big meal.
Okay, yeah.
But just like a snack.
Sure, just kind of
like
munching or grazing kind of throughout the day.
Kind of grazing, right? Because you're letting your glucose, because really generally your glucose should be like a gentle ocean wave.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Not like a tsunami.
But a lot of
right?
people, it ends up being like a tsunami,
Okay,
right? Just
yeah.
like you described.
Yeah.
Like it'll be like super high, and then you'll crash a couple hours later.
Okay.
And
No,
you
I mean,
wanna
I mentioned being tired in the afternoon. That, I mean, I do eat a really big lunch, so that might be a small reason contributing to that. So maybe like smoothing that out over a couple
Yeah.
more hours. Okay.
Yeah, I think that could be a contributing factor.
Sure.
And it'll be easier to see once we see kind of like a log, if you can keep like a track.
Yeah.
And we can start with like a week or a shorter time
I can do a
frame if
week.
that works for you.
Yeah.
And so then from the next meeting, we can build strategies upon that, and then just build upon that.
Cool.
And then I can give you further resources on other snacks that would be, like easy to carry, easy
Yeah.
to bring, but then also bring that are very nutrient high.
Yeah. That'd be sweet.
And also higher in calories, but useful calories.
Sweet. Yeah. That'd be awesome. Well, this has been really good. I got more than this than I thought I was going to, so I really appreciate it.
I'm glad.
So I'll share a document. I'll share a food log with you. I can do that for the next at least next week. I think I can manage that. I'll jump on the scale next week. I'll see what changes. And yeah, if maybe like a couple weeks, can I see you again? Is that all
Yeah,
right?
sounds good. Yep.
Okay.
We'll just set an appointment for the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
And then also, real quick before we go, I wanted just to mention, you mentioned, being teased by your teammates.
Yeah, a
And
little bit, yeah.
I wanted to encourage you, but also offer, the next time we meet, if you feel like there's maybe not been any movement, or you're feeling kind of a little emotionally stagnant,
Mhm.
then we can certainly make a referral
Okay.
to a sports psychologist.
Okay. Yeah.
Who can, who has just a more focused scope on that area,
Mm.
and then I can get you additional help by that means.
There you go.
If that's something that you would like to explore, we can certainly do that as well.
Yeah. I don't think they've pushed me quite that far yet.
Okay.
But if we do get to that point, I think that's something I'd be very open to.
Super.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
Well, I got a class, so thank you, Silvia.
So,
I really
yeah, it was
appreciate
really nice to see you,
Really
and
nice to meet
I'll
you.
see you in a couple weeks.
Okay.